Hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. Today's video is part 2 in the eyeshadow palette collection and declutter videos that I'm doing. There is going to be yet another one. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes. I didn't think I had that many, but I think the problem is I start just like losing myself in them and I start swatching and thinking about all the looks I could do, and it drags the video out pretty far. So hopefully you're not too fussed about that part, but since it is going to be a bit longer, I'm going to stop yammering now and get into this part of the Declutter collection video series happening. All right, here we go. I figured let's start with an obvious selection. We'll go with my Nomad palettes. This is clearly the America's Parks palette and one of my absolute favorite palettes. I love this color story. I love the quality of all of these eyeshadows. They are spectacular. This, I believe, if my memory isn't mistaken, this was the first palette that really made me look at Nomad and see what they were doing and to keep an eye on them, because this looked so cool to me. Love, love, love this palette. And of course, it will be staying in my collection probably for as long as I live. Next up, we have the Nomad Tokyo palette. This is such a sweet little color story. All of these shimmers are shifty. They're just so cute. For me, this is not a standalone palette. This is a companion, but it's so good. Up here we have the full row of mattes and then a full row of satiny shades and then all of these shimmers. This is so cool. And now that I'm thinking about it, this might actually pair with the Into the Night palette. I'm gonna have to remember that. But obviously keeping. Next up we have the Provence palette. I think this one is so pretty. I mean, I don't know, I just want to go and sit at that table and I probably, need some kind of coffee because I don't drink wine, but it just seems like such a lovely place to sit and spend some time. And the color story, spectacular! It's so good. We've got the row of shimmers in the middle and 2 rows of mattes. Look at the macarons. Oh, I could just stare at this.
It's a good day to try something new.
Nice.
You made it this far. Keep going.
Nice. I love both of those.
Love you.
I love you. Jackson reads the little sayings on the Dove chocolates. It's my little way of getting him to read.
Just one more chocolate.
Sure.
Thank you. Love you.
You're welcome. I love you. Okay. Where was I? I really just want to see what this one looks like. Just beautiful. Look at that shine. Ah, so good. Pigmented and yummy. Look at that. So good. Obviously I'm keeping. If I were to get rid of my Nomad palettes, it's pretty much a guarantee that something is terribly wrong, and probably should notify some of those little alphabet agencies.
Your evolution looks good on you.
Your evolution looks good on you. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
It means the change that you're making, who you're becoming, looks really good. You're doing a good job. I love that.
I love you.
I love you. All right, next up we have Nomad Cartagena Magica. I can't say that right. I can't say Cartagena because, you know, I've been there. This is so fun. You're not going to get too many different looks, I don't think. But again, excellent companion. You've got satin, you've got shimmer, you've got matte. So pretty. So pretty. And I don't know what is up with my taste in makeups right now, but look at that yellow. Beautiful. Definitely be keeping this one. Oh, this is mine and Shawnee's Meet Cute palette. Hudson Valley. We met and, well, fell in friendship with each other over this palette. I did a look with the red shades and she decided she needed to as well, so she purchased it, and yeah, I love this palette. This is hands down, no questions asked, the best red matte eyeshadow I've ever used. There are several on the market now that are very, very, very good, and I like them a lot. But this red is the best red, pure red. I love it. I like what they did with this palette with only the 3 shimmers and the 12 matte shades. You can mix and match and really honestly just have a very, very good time with this palette. I mentioned in my first Declutter collection video that I have videos with all of these, and I do under my Nomad playlist. You can find looks with every single one of these palettes except one. There's one that I haven't used yet, but we'll get to that in the end. Nomad Iceland palette. Oof, this is beautiful. Before I got a couple others, this was a fave, and it's still top of the list. It's gorgeous. Look at it. So many options. The shimmer formula in this is knock your socks off. The matte formula is always amazing with Nomad. And look at the little gnomes. I don't know if you can see the imprint, but it's little gnomes. I have a thing about gnomes. I love them with my whole heart. My whole heart. Wow, I can't even talk. I love, love, love the combination of shades in this palette. So good. I don't want to think about the name of this one. Every time I do, I get the Cat Stevens song stuck in my head. All right, but I won't be happy about it. This is the Marrakesh palette. And I mean, can you just, it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Kind of almost rainbowy, but on like the muted, maybe almost like dusty side. I don't know. It's so gorgeous. Okay, next in the pile is the Fuji 5 Lakes. These aren't in any kind of order. I just pulled them off the shelf and piled them on my desk. Look at that. I can't even think. These yellows are probably the best yellows I've ever seen. They are spectacular, pigmented and gorgeous. The blues are like gray blue and beautiful. And okay, let's just, it's a pretty red matte. It's a Hudson Valley but it's not supposed to be because it's Fuji 5 Lakes. This is another just, niece Rachie would say it's a banger, and it is. This absolutely rates very high up on my list of, look at that. It just, this would make a good highlight too, in case you're wondering. Oh, it's so pretty. Man, oh man. And the texture, the oil painting effect is just gorgeous. This palette is a winner on so many levels for me. Okay, next we have New Zealand Stargazing. And look at that. I mean, it's gorgeous. This shade and this shade I want for highlighters. They're so pretty. I just, oh man, gets me right in my feels. Love, love, love them. And this palette is spectacular. The multi-chromes are absolutely beautiful. They're multi-chromes, but they're also really sparkly and beautiful. They're just, they're the bee's knees. And again, with the matte shades, I mean, you literally cannot go wrong with a Nomad matte, in my opinion. They are so good and blendable and buildable and lovely. Really love this one. This is the one that Felicia gifted me when I posted about my 100th Nomad video on Instagram. Polar Express. This is such a good palette. I've used every shade. I love every shade. Absolutely stunning. The white goes on white and it stays white. It's so good. Absolutely fantastic. Polar Express is a duo or multi-chrome. I of course can't show you because that would be a Christmas miracle. But again, spectacular mattes, the very shiny, beautiful, shimmery shades. Man, I love this palette. And we have the Chicago Speakeasy. This one is another one. Look at it. It's this shade for me. This is one of my most favorite shades ever. Looking down, I see orange, but in the camera, it's like gray, green. It is a beautiful multi-chrome. Probably one of my absolute favorites. I love this palette. I think it is perfect. This purple, the green, the neutral shades. I feel like this could almost be Shazzy Do. I think this could be one of your like absolute favorites if there was just a little bit more green in here. It's spectacular. Man, oh man, gorgeous. Next up, we have the Royal Europe. I forgot to mention all of the palettes that came out in 2023, Nomad sent to me. I was on their PR list for itty bitty creators in 2023, and this is one of them. And look at that color story. All of these are multi-chromes. All of the mattes are spectacular. This is another palette that would be a really nice companion with Tokyo, or the other light one that we saw. Cartagena, because all of these mattes are super duper dark. It would be very easy to pair this with another palette and create an obscene amount of looks because of all the different colors. It's gorgeous. This one, Bleu de France and St. Edward's Crown might be my two favorite shades out of this palette. In the camera, this looks pink. Looking down at it, it looks like rust, like a rusty orangey red with a very strong hint of green. From this angle, I'm looking at it and this looks purple, but in the camera, it's blue. This one looks blue, but looking down at it, I can see purple. It's just such, I don't know. And these are some of the smoothest multi-chromes I've ever tried. In fact, I loved these so much. I was able to part with my Nakia Joy Cosmetics multi-chrome pigments because I had to use those wet. I had to wet them to make them work. And this is just all in one little palette. Gorgeous. Absolutely wonderful. These next two palettes are incredibly special to me for very different reasons. We have the Whistler Snow Lodge. I received this as a gift from the brand when I discovered Nomad and purchased Home for the Holidays. I loved that palette so much that I went on the website and bought every other palette they had available except for Haunted Europe. I had to have them. I loved the quality and I just kept ordering them. And one of my YouTube subscribers emailed Nomad and said that I was a fan and they should know who I was. So they emailed me and said basically that, and they would like to send me their next palette when it launched. And I was blown away. It was, at the time, one of the craziest, coolest things that had ever happened to me. I couldn't imagine anything or anyone as spectacularly cool as I thought Nomad would want to gift me a palette, would actually know my name. You know what I mean? Really silly, but I love this palette. This has been top 3 easily of my Nomad palettes that I love. I absolutely adore this. I love the color story. I love the shades. I love the formula. And here we have another one of those beautiful, could be a highlight shade. This one, this brown, is my most favorite shade of ever. I love that so much. And I don't know why, I just think it's so beautiful. So, I love this palette. How many times have you said, "You sound like a broken record, Jan. Pick a different word." But it's fun and it's pretty. And this is another duo multi-chrome, blue, purple, maybe some pink, I don't know. But it's spectacular. And again, the formula, 10 out of 10. Absolutely wonderful. This next palette, I can't go into too much, but it saved me. It is the Nomad Okavango Safari palette. I had been through a bit of a time, and this was coming to me in 2023. It was when I was on the PR list, so I felt like my own personal obligation to Nomad. They sent this to me. I wanted to play with it, and it was the shove, the push, the reminder that I could be okay eventually. And I don't know, I love this palette. I love it for a lot of reasons. One is that Jax and I have watched every single nature documentary there is to watch. We love, love, love anything along these lines. And look at this. How could I not? It's so good. And some of these special shades, yeah, hard pan. And if you're new here, you won't know this, but you just gotta get a little aggressive. Get in there and a little bit, and it's perfect and lovely. Such a cool palette. And I loved that it was like faux animal skin fur sort of a type thing. I don't know. I really, really love this palette. This is the Tuscany palette. And it's gorgeous. Absolutely knock your socks off. Beautiful. Love, love, love this palette. It's just gorgeous. And then I have Lake Como. And this is just beautiful. The blues, the greens, the neutral tones. So pretty and so good. Nomad just does good eyeshadow. Look at that blue. I mean, that is gorgeous. And that, I mean, they're just so good. And these eyeshadows make me so happy. It's really, please. It's so much more than just like, I don't know, colorful powders. Makeup is powerful, and I don't know, Nomad's got a little extra something special going on. Now we have the OG Nomad Travel Palette. This was the first one they came out with. It's adorable. It came out in 2023, and I think, for at least my skin tone anyway, this was a spectacular collection of eyeshadows. These shimmers are stellar. They're beautiful. The mattes, same, just absolutely gorgeous. And this has See the World. It looks like a brown, but it's got a little bit of like a purple shimmer running through it. So it is that beautiful brown that I love, but it's got a little something else too. And zero complaints. They are so beautiful. Yeah. And then we have the Nomad Abu Dhabi. I don't need to say Nomad. You know it's Nomad. Look at that. You can't even see what I see. The light is washing it out a little bit, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So pretty. I've only done one look with this, but I want to do more. It's so pretty. And again, you're not going to get a lot of different looks with these little palettes, but you're going to get good ones every single time. And we have Oslo, which is the cool tone version of the neutral and the warm. It's beautiful. Again, you're not going to get a lot of different looks out of it, but what you do get will be absolutely gorgeous. And if you like little palettes for traveling or just for scuzz, can't go wrong with these. They're amazing. I should probably mention I have a code with Nomad. If you haven't heard me say that before, I do. It's Jan. It gets you 10% off. This one is the Canadian Rockies. I haven't used it yet, so it's still in the box with a little paper on it. This is the indicator that I haven't used it yet. And it's so pretty. I haven't even swatched this. Look how beautiful. This one only has 2 shimmers, which I guess I didn't even realize until just now. Let's swatch this one, and this one. Wow. Look at those. Holy moly. Yeah, definitely need to play with this. It is gorgeous. Okay, now we have the 18 pan palettes. Can I fit the whole thing in frame? This is the Paradise Islands palette. And let's see. Ooh, ooh. All right, there, it's all in there. I love this one. Why do I keep saying that? You know I love it. My hand is so dirty, but we'll use this hand now. This is probably my favorite shade in here. And you can't even really see how amazing it is. It's the shade Fish. Every single shade in here is gorgeous. This is another of the duochrome shades. It's pink and blue. It is gorgeous. On the lid, as an inner corner, absolutely spectacular. Oof. Love, love, love. Next, we have the Orient Express. My favorite bully, Susan, had mentioned that she doesn't really hear anyone talking about this palette. And I was like, you know what? She's right. I don't even talk about this palette. And then I used it. I've used it a couple of times. This is a spectacular palette. It is so good. I don't know why people don't talk about it more. The formula is perfection. The colors are absolutely gorgeous. You've got a couple duochromes in here. I mean, it's just amazing. I would definitely say if you've got this, bust it out because it's so good. Next up, we have Ghost Town, USA. And this is another one that came out in 2023 and was sent to me in PR. This is another absolutely flipping gorgeous palette. And it's got the same like 3 6-pan color stories. I don't know. It's so good. It's so good. Or you could split it down the center and have, you know, kind of the cool tones, the warm tones with the cools. I mean, it's just got a little bit of everything. Calico, California, though, gorgeous. Copper Penny, gorgeous. I mean, look how just shiny. Love it. Love, love, love. Monteverde, Cloud Forest. This is pretty much a green palette with some other colorful pops, if you will. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful palette. Probably my favorite shade is Green Vine Snake. It's beautiful green. And this shade right here called Hanging Bridges. This was like the shade to bridge any matte and any shimmer in this palette together in a look. It was so much fun and pigmented. They're so wonderful. You know? Even this funky brown has a tinge of green in it. I just love, love, love every shade in here. And we have Verona, Love and Death. This was also part of the PR. Ooh, can I get it open? For 2023. Such a great palette. So many options. Nikki and I just did a collab with this for Throwback Thursday, and I've been doing palette bingos with my Throwback Thursday videos, and I randomly chose the shades out of this and I had a great time. Comedy is my favorite shade because it's a red that's got some orange in it, so it stays looking red, but every shade in here has something spectacular. And you know, these two are fairly similar on the eye, but I don't know, I think it's a great palette. The dark side is dark and so cool. I really do like this. It's a hot mess, but that's because I use it. I like my makeups and I like using what I have. 3 more Nomad palettes. The Florida Keys, Beachy and Peachy. This is what she looks like on the inside. So good. I just use this one too with a collab with Manuela from Makeup Therapy. Such a fun color story. I really, really liked the look that she, well, I mean, I put it together. She chose the colors and we were to put them on our eyes and make a look out of them. It was fun and I really liked it. I love these shades so much. Man, oh man. Gorgeous. And then we have the Haunted Europe palette. I cannot look at the cover, but the inside is absolutely beautiful. There are some shades in here that seem very, very similar, but I mean, it's hard to be mad at them when they're so pretty. You know, we've got these 2 gold shades. They're definitely a little bit different, but similar. And then we have these kind of grayish shades. Similar, but a little bit different. I don't know. I really like this palette. Again, it's a pretty dark palette. Obviously, kind of goes with the theme, but you're going to get all dark looks, or you can use it as a companion palette. And I think you can split them up into 3 6-pan palettes and have some pretty good looks that would be quite different from look to look. If you did a couple with this, a couple with this, and a couple with this, they could be very, very different looks. Let me know if you think I should try something like that or anything with these palettes. Any of these palettes that you would like me to play with, just let me know because I will totally do it. I want to use more of my makeup. And then we have Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. This is another absolutely beautiful palette. You've got blue, you've got green, and you've got these like warm browny rusty shades. Spectacular. I've never been to Ireland. I'll probably never go, but I would love to. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This was another 2023 PR list palette for me. Love it. It's so pretty. There we have it. All of my Nomad palettes. And we are still not even halfway done with my collection. So I'm going to put these away and grab one more batch. I think it's probably going to be a 3-part video. Eek. Okay, we have one more batch and then we're going to call it a day for now. So I have the original Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. And ooh, let's see if I can get the whole thing in frame here. Pretty close. Yeah, I love this palette. It is a mostly neutral palette, but the quality is fantastic. It is so usable and lovely, and I can't see me getting rid of it unless something happens and the eyeshadows just end up being really no good. I mean, they're beautiful, beautiful eyeshadows. Zero complaints. Can't get rid of it because it's so good and easy. And yeah, I think it's the only Morphe palette I have. It's definitely the only Jaclyn Hill palette I have. But it's just good. It's just good. So I'll be keeping this one. I'm going to start stacking these because there's just so many to show you. And then we have the BH Cosmetics Miss Claus Santa's Daughter is Here to Slay the Lit List. This palette is so good. It is enormous. I don't even know if I can show you the whole thing if I turn it this way. Yeah, that's the whole palette. And I mean, you can see it's a hot mess. The blue matte that broke and caused a bit of ruckus, but every single shade in this palette, with the exception of this pressed glitter, is fantastic. This is such a great palette, and though it's Christmas themed, it is an everyday wearable palette. I love this. I cannot imagine getting rid of this for anything. The formula is spectacular. I just love it. I've told this 100 times, but when I got this palette, I literally used it 7 days in a row. I couldn't stop using it. It's just so good and fun, and yeah, I mean, it's a great, great palette. I'm really glad I have it. And I have the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette. I have not even opened this yet. I need to. Let's see if I can get the sleeve off. Okay, well, I think I figured out why I haven't used it yet. I couldn't get the sleeve off, so I had to destroy it. But look at this. BH Cosmetics Baked Formula is probably the best I have ever seen. These are so good. I gave away almost all of my BH Cosmetics palettes as I went through and decluttered and, you know, passed on what I wasn't using. But yeah, there's one palette that I took with us on our first cruise, and I used it every night, and I should never have gotten rid of it, but there you have it. Here, let's swatch Capricorn, because this is me. And look at that shade. I mean, and then we've got this giant highlighter in the center. I bet that is beautiful on the skin. Yeah, it's just gonna look wet. Oh, okay. This one is coming out to play. I'm not even gonna put it away. I'm going to use it. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like to see with this. But yeah, that's gonna have to happen. Slightly smaller, we have the Melt Amori Mariposas palette. I'm gonna turn this way. This is a beautiful palette. I really, really like this. I haven't used it enough, but it's gorgeous. The quality is fantastic. Love, love, love this. Yep, definitely need to use this one more. And last, for the big palettes, I have the Michaela in Glam Light. Okay, this is a beautiful palette. I'm not necessarily a fan of Michaela. I don't really watch her or, most of social media. But Glam Light does a really great job with their eyeshadows. I almost thought I was going to declutter this, but looking at it, I don't think I am. I think this is going to stay. It's just so good. It's got a lot of great colors. Yeah, this one's gonna stay. Okay, now we have some smaller, more manageable palettes. This is the Thunder palette from Colored Rain. It's got a whole lightning storm on the front. I just got this when they were closing up shop and I used it for a Blue Monday. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful blue palette. So I will be keeping this one because it is still very, very new in my collection. And then I have the 4-pack of the little chic palettes. We have Sunset Chic, which is gorgeous. I mean, so pretty. And Wealthy Chic, again, absolutely spectacular. And then we have Pretty Chic. And she's so pretty. Absolutely beautiful. And last but not least of the chic palettes, we have Neutral. And it's neutral and it's beautiful. Very similar to the little Nomad 6 pans, but a little different. And I really, really like it. So all of these will be staying. I've only had them, I got them in 2024, so they're still very, very, very new in my collection. Next, I have the Into the Night. Shawnee had this palette, and I thought, well, that looks amazing, and I need it too. So I got it. And here it's like 3 little quads. You could break them up and have, very specific looks. It's a very, very pretty palette, and I will be keeping it. It's so pretty. And again, if you are wondering about looks, I have playlists that are done by brand names. And then we have Nocturnal. This one Shawnee gifted to me because they accidentally sent her an extra one. And weirdly, they made her pay for it and, let her keep it, of course, but I've never heard of that happening before. Most brands will just be like, oops, well, enjoy your free palette. But they are a small brand, so I definitely understand it. But it's beautiful. And I think you could do the same thing, 3 little quads and have really fun makeup looks. I really need to use this more. Yeah, definitely. Okay, next we have Gloss Gods New Neutrals Remixed. And this palette is absolutely beautiful. There is just so many beautiful eyeshadows in here. I can't use this one or this one. They're just too textured and chunky for my eyelids. The rest, though, are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they're just beautiful, lovely eyeshadows. Unfortunately, I just don't reach for it. And I think it needs to go to a home where it will be used and appreciated for what it is. I mean, this is, oh, that feels kind of dry, but it is a multi or duochrome. Yeah, this one is gonna go to a new home with somebody who will actually get lots of use out of it. Next up from Gloss Gods, What's Your Power Remixed. And I mean, look at that. That is a spectacularly gorgeous palette. I see 8 2 eyeshadows and done looks. These, like, it's just gorgeous. You can see there's been some leakage, but I don't even care. I need to play with this. I am so excited. Every time I open this, I think I really want to put this on my eyes. Oh gosh, that is so smooth. My fingertips are ready from swatching, but I mean, oh gosh, they're gorgeous. So yeah, this will be staying and getting lots of use. It's gorgeous. And then I have the Look for Rainbows, also Gloss Gods. This is another one of those just like spectacular, glorious palettes. I mean, it's just so pretty. So yeah, this one has to stay. I almost thought I would be able to part with it, but I cannot. The name of this one gets me right in my feels, but I'm gonna keep it. And last from Gloss Gods, we have Lavender Skies Remixed. Oh my goodness. I was really thinking maybe this one would be one that I can part with, but I don't think it is. It's beautiful. Okay, I have to swatch. Oop. I have to swatch Daybreak just to see. Yeah. And then Dreamscape. Oh my gosh. I don't think you can see just how beautiful. Yeah. This has me thinking that perhaps I need to organize my palettes by maybe have a section that is just companions. That way I can more easily see them and mix and match. These just have so much potential for so much beautiful goodness. All right, next and the last batch is from Glamlight. We have the Hershey's Cookies and Cream. It's a gorgeous palette. Absolutely fantastic. I have loved my makeup every time I've used this one. I'm going to be keeping that one along with the Hershey's because, I mean, look at that. They're just beautiful. That is so bright and lovely. Not swatched on my eyeshadow stained fingertips, but these are really, really good palettes. So I have to keep them. Plus, I mean, chocolate. Good. I have the Scooby-Doo Retro Raggy. I've only used this a couple of times, so it has to stay. I need to use this more. I think this might go into the little companion palette section that I'm building in my head. Yeah, I think that might be what I need to do. And of course, we have Creeps and Crawls, because I mean, look at that. This with the Nomad Cartagena palette, or the France one. Why can't I think of names? What a glorious combination those would make. Oh yeah. And look at that. I mean, I'm gonna try to show you my arm. Good golly, Miss Molly. That is spectacular. Oh my gosh. I could just sit here and paint myself with shimmery eyeshadows. And then we have the Strawberry Shortcake Berrylicious palette. This one, I have not used this palette. It still has the little plastic thingy in here, and that's how we know. But I purchased this because I had it and I used it. Hold on, you can't even see the whole thing because these little things are in the way. All right, everybody gets a turn. Okay, Scooby-Doo, calm down. So I had this one and I used it for a look 2 summers ago. And later that week I got pink eye and I fully panicked and got rid of everything I used on my face prior to getting the pink eye. It was viral pink eye, and I'm not even sure 100% that it was actually pink eye so much as just my eyes kind of being oogie from the cold. But when it comes to things like that, I don't mess around. I am way too paranoid. But I had used this shade, and when I tell you how surprised I was, I'm not exaggerating. It's almost got like a blue undertone. It's gorgeous. Absolutely flipping stunning. So it went on sale and I had to repurchase because it was just too pretty to just not have in my life. I mean, look at that. Ah. These are beautiful. So yeah, I'll be keeping this one. I had purchased the entire collection when it came out, but this is the only piece I repurchased because I had to have it. That green is just so pretty. I'm not even sure if you can see it now. Once it's like blended out, it's got almost that blue shifty undertone, which I thought was pretty unique. Definitely unique to my collection. So, all right, that is a wrap for this palette collection Declutter Part 2. We still have one more to go, and then we'll be done. I suspect the last one will be where the bulk of my palettes go bye-byes, but we'll see. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, I appreciate you. Bye.